Well, hello and welcome to the Wednesday Word. This is the Desert Spring podcast, coming to you from Desert Spring Church in Las Vegas, Nevada. And wow, we're going off script. We're going a little bit different here today because it just had to be done. And today is an episode about the late and beautiful Lena King. And so I have around this table here some beautiful friends of Lena's, and I know some great stories. And so these are not your regular podcast. They've come out today to honor Lena, and so we're just grateful that you're here. And so I'd love for you to introduce yourselves, and since you are all friends of Lena's from Desert Spring Church, just kind of if you can introduce yourself and let us know how long you've been coming here to Desert Spring. All right, so we'll start with you, Mary Jo.
Hello, Mary Jo Spiegelmeyer, and I met Lena King in our Ruth Circle way back when Jan Long started it. And so that was my first wonderful experience with Lena King.
And how long have you been coming to Desert Spring Church?
Since it opened.
Oh,
well, since who was quite a few ministers back.
So, but when before we were meeting here on the campus here, were you in the rec center or the high school?
Just when it came to this campus.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Just after Marley.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you for being here, Mary Jo. And Susie.
I'm Susie McHugh, and Patrick and I met Lena shortly after we came to live in Las Vegas, so early 2000s. She was an animal person, and we were too. So we met her and her husband Charles walking our dogs. And being an animal lover, it was love at first sight. Her enthusiasm and her vivaciousness and her welcoming, we were friends immediately. We've been coming to Desert Spring since 2014 because wonderful Alma Crenshaw invited Lena to Desert Spring, and Lena invited us.
I love that. I just love how that works. Wonderful, wonderful. All righty, Alma.
I'm Alma Crenshaw, and I met Lena on her 90th birthday. It was a 90th birthday surprise from her friend Barbara Massey Macy. And Barbara is also our beautician. When I met Lena, at the end of the party, she grabbed my arm and said, "Do you know of a good church around here?" And I said, "Yes, I know of the best one." And she said, I said, "It's a Methodist church." Before I can get Methodist out, she said, "Do they serve the Lord?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "Yes, they do." So I always carry a card in my pocket like I have today. And I gave her this card, and that was history. She's been with us ever since.
Wow.
And I have celebrated every birthday with her since. And we had planned to celebrate her birthday this coming week. Mary Jo had planned it, and God had a better plan for her. Mm. She's no longer with us, and we're going to miss her.
Would have been her 101st birthday.
Would have been her 101st birthday. And if the Lord was willing, I would have been there with Mary Jo and the others, Susie, Patrick, and all of the gang.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, we have you to thank for Lena being here, for Patrick and Susie. I'm sure if you carry the cards in your pocket, probably a lot of other people too. Yes. So yeah, that's really wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here.
I'm Patrick McHugh, Susie's husband. Excuse me. Like we said, we know Lena from our dog walking, and Charles would always walk Wolfgang around the neighborhood, and he was kind of a neighborhood guard gatekeeper. He knew everybody, and he knew where all the bones were buried. So it made for a really, really nice community. And But yeah, we sure miss Lena.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Lena is known. She's a hero. She's a hero, and the world knows her as a hero. And I know you all know her for more than that. But Lena was last year. She received the Congressional Gold Medal for being a part of the 688. And who can talk about that? Who can speak to that? Patrick is ready to go.
Well, they were in Birmingham, England, and they didn't live in barracks so much as they lived with families. And after the war, Lena extended in Birmingham and lived with a family there because she was taking classes. And it was a win-win for everybody. She got to live in a nice house, and she had commissary privileges. In England, they had rationing up until the 1950s, especially with sugar. And Lena, since she had commissary privileges, was well loved there. When they were in France, they were driving along in a caravan of deuce and a half trucks. And in the truck in front of her was her best friend. And it was in the winter time, and they hit some ice, and the truck rolled over, and her friend was killed right in front of her. So that really, really upset her. But, being the soldier she was, she went on. They were in Belgium, and she said one day they were walking down this one street that hadn't been bombed out, and there was this beautiful chair sitting in the window with this wonderful velvet curtain behind it. And she was just amazed at the way this chair was just upholstered. So they went in. There was 4 of them, and they were, good, right-standing Southern girls. And they went into this place, and there was a bar and a couple tables and quite a few men, and they were staring at these 4 black women soldiers. And they looked around for a minute, and then the lights went on, and they said, "Thank you very much, danke," and they left. Well, it was a bordello. They just, like, oh, no wonder the street hadn't been bombed out.
Wow.
But in the early days that we knew Lena, we didn't know about the
688.
The platoon. When she started to be honored for her participation in it, with Elizabeth Fraser and Mr. Philpott, she was gracious, she was humble, and she also wanted other women of color to be proud, and she helped that to happen.
Yeah.
She helped that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, she was very humble and gracious about, such a great accomplishment, and I wondered, did she realize the impact that she made on some do you think that she did realize?
Because she wasn't the person that bragged about anything.
Uh-huh.
She was grateful for everything and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
She always was a happy person.
Mm-hmm.
She always was happy.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted you to be happy too.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, she loved to cook. And she loved company. And she loved for everybody to eat a lot and take it home with you too. She had plenty for everybody. Yeah. And she loved barbecue. Yeah.
Well, and when we had the award last year, when she received that, she just has so many other facets to her life than, I mean, that's the big thing I knew about her. Like, wow, her accomplishment there. But we got to hear so much about her life and about just kind of the different seasons of her life. And how much of that did you know before that? Not so much.
Not so much.
Not so
Not
much.
so much. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about her good food, I'll never forget when we went over, it was for her silver before she got the gold. And she makes this wonderful seafood soup with everything in it, crab. Oh, it was
Gumbo.
just everything.
It's called
Oh,
gumbo.
it was outstanding. It was she called it her gumbo soup.
Yes.
And then she had a huge ham and all kinds of salads. And she just is so welcoming. The woman was so beautiful and humble because she never, ever wanted to make anybody believe that she should be honored for all this. She always said, I don't deserve this, but she did.
Yeah, she truly did. Well, and apparently a lot of other people thought she did too. So for anyone who might not be familiar with the 68888, Lena served in an all-black women platoon.
Battalion.
Am I saying that right?
Battalion.
Battalion,
Battalion.
correct. Battalion, correct.
Battalion.
And they got mail to the soldiers, and their morale or their motto was "No mail, poor morale, low morale." You know, and recognizing the importance of mail and being able to receive the letters from home, what that means for them. Letters are a big thing for me. We're doing a letter writing workshop right now, and I think about the joy that she brought to so many people. And also I thought about probably not all the letters were joyful letters. Probably some of the news from home was difficult and hard news, but news that nevertheless that they needed to hear and tie them to home, to their families. And as someone who now it's a little bit different. My kids just email me. You know, when they're deployed, they email. It's a little different.
That's easy.
It's a different time. So a movie is being made, and we've been anxiously awaiting for this movie to be made. If you're listening to the podcast, when we honored her here, she had some surprise guests. She had Tyler Perry here, and we've been waiting for this movie. But what we just found out yesterday is the movie is in fact finished, and that Tyler Perry brought the movie to her and showed it. It looked like he was showing her on his iPad the finished movie, but she didn't tell anyone that, right? That she had seen it. She signed the non-disclosure. I'm not sure. Yeah. And so I'm so glad, because it was so important for him also, who looks to her as such a hero. It was important. He shared that, it motivated him we've got to get this done, because she really needs to see this, because this is her life story. She was one of 5 surviving. Yeah. Is it 5? So now we're down to 4 surviving women from the battalion. So we hope to see the movie soon. That will be really something to see. But I love that she got to see. I can't imagine what that'd be like to see your life in a movie. But so tell me about a favorite memory of Lena. Who has a favorite memory?
Well, I think it was really great to me when she got sick and was in the hospital. And I went to see her in the hospital, and I didn't know her, because she always looked so perfect and always smiling and beaming so big and always welcomed everybody. She still welcomed me, but I went out of the room and then I went back in because I said, oh, it's got to be her. And then she was her friendly self, but not feeling that well. That was before her 100th birthday. And I do think the 100th birthday was so great. She was just so welcoming to everybody there. I don't think anybody will forget that day. And she's always meant so much to me, and I think a lot of other people too.
I think observing how she loved her friends beyond measure. She was the ultimate friend. She cared about people. She would do anything that she could to make them feel welcome and loved and appreciated. And I learned a lot from her.
My great memory of her is when I visited her home. She had books everywhere. In every book you see, she's read it. She could tell you what's in that book.
Mm.
And she just loved company. And sometimes I just go over there and just sit with her, and both of us are quiet. And I like that about her. Yeah. And she was gracious for everything, everybody. And this place here, Desert Spring United Methodist Church, was her safe place. She was happy here. But she was also happy after the service to go to brunch with Patrick and Susie. She was happy to do that. She was really happy to do that. So she was just she was a gracious lady.
Yeah.
And she loved the Lord.
Truly gracious. What was your favorite brunch spot? What was her favorite spot to brunch?
The edge of town.
The edge of town. Okay. At the edge of town.
She loved Mimi's too.
Yeah, yeah, she did love Mimi. She sure did.
Yep.
But she would order the waffles with, let's see, it was waffles and chicken breast, fried chicken breast, and extra bacon. Just
Listen,
a side of
that got her almost 101 years, so
Yeah.
I guess I'm eating bacon.
She could have.
I'm going to eat more bacon.
Yes, yes.
You know, clearly she valued learning. You know, she valued people and relationships. She valued connections. What do you think that she valued the very most in this world?
She was a Christian woman. She loved the Lord.
She loved the Lord.
Every seminar or workshop that she could take when we first started coming here, she wanted to be a part of.
And she was a big part of Ruth Circle. Ruth Circle
Sure was. Yes, she was.
Ruth Circle celebrated her 95th birthday, and with your picture right there by her, cutting the cake with her. I have a picture of that. Yeah, Susie's picture was there.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Go ahead, Mary Jo.
We were just coming back from the Mexican Riviera, and the first thing I said to Jerry, I've got to call Alma as soon as I get home because it'll be your birthday this Saturday. And I want to start organizing and getting things done. And then I had a message at home. And so I knew that she'd passed. I think it was her daughter or granddaughter, her granddaughter or niece that had called me. And then I called Alma, and then she talked to me about it. And I've loved every minute I've been able to spend with Lena.
I'm so glad that you got to see her too before she passed. And so if you tried to sum a woman who lived 101 pretty amazing years up, you know, for in just a few words, how would you describe her?
She left a great legacy that we'll never forget. We'll always remember Lena, Lena King.
A life very well lived.
Yes.
I mean, every minute.
Yes.
Every minute.
Yeah.
She touched a lot of people, not only here, but she was a head nurse for Kaiser in Los Angeles. And so, you know, she had a lot of responsibility there. She was very well loved in Los Angeles. She married her second husband, was Larry King. He was a music producer. And all of Larry's friends warned him not to marry her because they were afraid that he would stop having parties for them. He was the super at Century 21. So all these, you know, celebrities would come down to Larry's place and have a party. And Sean Connery or Frank Sinatra would drop in all the time.
Oh, my word.
Della Reese gave Lena a dachshund, and its name was Fräulein. But
Fräulein,
yeah. Must have been mixed memories of World War II in there.
I guess so.
There were some fun times.
But she had actually grown up in Philadelphia, and a fellow in our church, Thomas Marshall, grew up in her neighborhood 6 years later. But, you know, he knew the street and everything.
Wow.
Her mother was a chef, And she was so good, she got hired by the local Jewish temple. And so she could cook kosher. And of course, she had a huge garden. And any kid in the neighborhood could come over and have dinner with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, it was a little later because she had to work.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother had to work. But that's how Lena learned to cook. And, just that open house feeling just cascaded through her life.
Wow. Wow.
She met Charles when she was buying her brand new car. And that was so exciting to him because he said, "Oh, wait, I'll come back and get the car and I'll take you home," and blah, blah, blah. And he never let her go.
That was it.
Yeah.
Wise man.
Kept her in the
Too
car.
good a thing. He didn't come over to Vegas with him, but he was soon here, and you guys got to know him. I never knew.
I didn't
Charles was his first name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Charles. Yeah.
I never got to know
But she
him.
took care of him when he became ill, and he was probably 6'4", and she would get him down the stairs and up the stairs. I don't know how, but she did it, and she got him to appointments and treatments, and it was amazing to watch.
Yeah.
And how long ago did he pass?
15, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think it was
yeah, because
15.
I never had met him either.
Me either. I
So-
never met
He was very dedicated to her, too.
Okay.
him.
Okay.
He lived the golf.
So she really didn't share a lot of her military stories with y'all. It wasn't until she received that really wasn't a part of your time and conversations together before.
We knew it a little before then,
Yeah, but not as much we know now. Mm-hmm.
but it was once Mr. Philpott got his book out and the recognition and the work of the VA
Right.
to get the ladies recognized. There's a statue at Fort Leavenworth for the 688, right next to the Buffalo Soldier statue.
Mm-hmm.
So,
She's an honorary Buffalo Soldier, right, too, Lena? Somebody, I believe that they made her an honorary Buffalo Soldier.
Could be.
Yep.
Could be.
And so, was it every Sunday that y'all went to brunch afterwards?
Every Sunday.
It was every Sunday.
usually, yeah.
Actually, for years, we went to the Desert Spring or Painted Desert Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And then started going to,
Branching out.
Did Lena have a signature saying or something that stands
Yes.
out for you? Yeah.
Yes. I woke up in my right mind. And she said that was kind of her motto.
She woke up in her right mind.
Woke up in my right mind.
That's a good day. That's a very good day. So, she was almost 101, so it's not a complete surprise, but it did kind of take our breath away when we all
Heard about it.
kind of heard the news. She lived so long. I guess we thought she was just going to live forever.
absolutely.
And so can you talk about that moment and finding that out? And you did share that you received the phone call.
Yes, I was just so thankful that Alma had called me, that we got to see her just before this. And before we'd gone on the trip before that, why I wanted to make sure, because I have a number of friends that are in their 90s and 100. And so I wanted to be able to see her as many times as possible. And so that's really a special thing to me. I was shocked, but I guess I shouldn't be, because she was almost 101. I figured we would be celebrating her birthday. I really did.
Mm-hmm. Already making plans. Yeah.
There's a void in our hearts, I know, but she wanted to be with the Lord. She absolutely voiced that.
I think it was her time, because once you're in bed fast and you can't get out of bed. Now, I've had two friends like that. The one just passed, and she was almost 99. And then Lena, that was almost 101. And they you could just feel it in your part that they weren't as happy as they'd been all the rest of their life when they can't move around and do things like
Sure.
they've been used to doing.
And she was a doer. She was a go-getter.
She
She was a
doer,
mover and
so
a shaker,
I think
right?
she was meant to meet her Lord. I really do.
I still can't get over it. It's just moments that oops. The last time I saw her, I knew I wasn't going to see her again alive. Yeah, because I knew she was ready to go. And when Mary Jo and I was there, she talked to us for a long time. Mary Jo brought her book and I brought her card. And she commented on the book and the card how much she appreciated us bringing it to her. And she also commented on Christmas, how Christmas was. But she said she wanted to go home. And being like now, I don't know if she wanted to go to be with the Lord or she wanted to go back to where she lived. So I'm in limbo about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, excuse me.
I think she really missed being at the house because I was shocked that she wasn't still there. But she really needed more care since she didn't get 24-hour care at the house.
Yeah.
She loved her home, and for good reason. She made everybody feel like princes and princess when they were at her house. She made everybody feel extra special.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to miss her.
It was Susie who let me know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
She hadn't been able to come to church for quite a while, but
right.
I don't think there was a Sunday where people didn't ask how
about
she was and
Yeah.
wanted her to know that they missed seeing her and wanted to know how she was doing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. People always asking about Lena. People always asking about Lena. And I know that Pastor David's already met with the family and they'll be making plans to celebrate her life and to honor her. And I know that you all will be a part of that. And, so many times, it's happened to me many times in the past few years. I've been to a celebration of life, a memorial service, and I learn all these things about people that I'm like, man, I wish I would have known about that or asked that question. But I think in Lena's case, I think that, we were able to learn a lot about her life and her being celebrated and her being honored. It gave her a chance to share and for us to be able to learn and to get to know her. So that's really was a true gift. It was a true honor to be able to have her celebrated here at our church and to be able to be a part of that. And so how are you personally going to honor Lena and remember Lena?
I have lots of pictures of her. I'm going to keep them around and look at them forever because she was part of my life.
She had so many facets: her cooking, her style, she was artistic. She was an example.
I feel like that because of her, it makes you a better person. She made you want to be a better person.
Yes.
And I think that's really so important in life, to be with people that make you feel like you want to be a better person.
Absolutely.
That's what I always, every time I saw her, she made me feel that way.
So Patrick, what about you?
Well, I remember when I would go and visit her in the hospice, and we'd watch television, jazz, and she would comment, "Oh, Dexter Gordon, Cicely Tyson liked that man. She loved that man. She really loved that man." And she had a comment about all these jazz players. Her first husband was a musician. And then Larry King was very big in music productions and stuff, so on. And she just knew all these people. And it was always amazing that, here's this person I'm with.
Yeah.
And she just rattling off all these names. And, she wasn't dropping them to impress me at all. It was
No,
like,
just
well, what did they wear? Oh, they were really, she would go into it and stuff because she really had an eye for fashion too.
Yes, yeah. She was an elegant woman, yeah.
Elegant.
But the funny thing was, once she had married Larry, he did all the buying of clothes for her.
Oh, really?
Yes. She said, I would pick something up on sale and he would just go crazy. He said, no, take her to I Magnum and someplace like that, Saks.
Nothing but the best.
Yeah.
She deserved the
Yeah,
best.
she
Well,
did.
and he did have a good eye for fashion too. But, they had a really great life in L.A., and I think they even had a better one with Charles here.
She just seems like a person who just lived it all, did it all. I don't think she left much undone, and it seems like maybe she didn't leave much left unsaid. So it's a great example for us, and it seems for you all that your last time spending with her was it's a positive experience, and she's left you, feeling that.
I never heard her say a bad word about anybody, ever.
Really?
Nothing
Nope.
negative, no negative talk.
Nope. Nope.
Wow. Well, are there any other little surprises or facts that maybe we don't know about Lena?
Yeah, she stayed independent her whole life.
Yeah.
She was independent. She never depended on nobody for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She stayed independent the whole life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She was raised that way, and she stayed that way.
And she grew up in the church. She her whole life she just knew the Lord and loved the Lord.
Yes, yes, she did.
Yeah, yeah.
I was giving her a party when the COVID was coming on, and I was all ready to give it, and we were still going to go through with it. And her granddaughter and her niece stopped the party. And she said, that's the only time somebody has got in my way of doing something instead of me. And to this day, before she passed, she told me she would have had it if they hadn't stopped it.
They were protecting her.
And I think she would have had it, don't you? I think we'd have had it, and I was having the party.
It was a great big celebration last year for her 100th birthday.
Yes.
It was a really gala party
Yeah.
for her. She was walking around talking and taking pictures and enjoying her birthday.
And tell me, because you were planning her 101st, and she's wasn't feeling well. So what did you have? What did you have planned?
I was just thinking that we would do something there at the place that Alma and I had just gone. And I thought, well, when I talk to Alma, we'll decide what we can get, and we'll talk to Susie and Patrick, because I figured probably it would be just the four of us.
Just the four of you. Just the four of you. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for, sharing stories and for honoring her. And I know that you'll be sharing many more stories as we get ready for her service. And we're gonna have to plan we're gonna have to plan a movie when the movie comes out. We'll have to plan a big celebration,
yes, that
a
would
big
be
celebration when the movie comes out. And we don't know; should be soon. We know